Hi guys, Mrs. Langless here, and today we are going to come back to another amazing animal drawing. Keep up the great work, by the way. And we're going to focus in on one of my favorite animals, which is an owl. And later on with this owl, we're actually going to add some really cool patterns to the owl in next week's video. So stay tuned for that. Today, we're just going to work on the drawing. So what you will need is a piece of white paper and a pencil with a good eraser. If you don't have those things, just pause the video and go grab them so that you can follow along with the process. All right, let's say goodbye to this owl for now, and we're gonna make one on our own. So you might remember with our giraffe that we actually folded the paper to come up with some lines that helped us draw. These lines are called guidelines. So what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna hold my paper the tall way, up and down, and I'm going to make one crease. Then I'm going to flip it again in half and make another. Just light creases because again, those are just there to help us draw. Now that I have those creases made, I'm just going to smooth out the paper so that it stays down and begin my drawing. So what we're going to do to begin is we're going to draw the round body shape. And the body shape of this owl in particular is an oval. So it's sort of a long oval. I mean, if you really look at it, it's almost like a rounded rectangle in a lot of ways. Okay, so let me move it up so that you can see it better. And there's my rounded oval. Now, if yours doesn't look just like mine, no big deal. You're the artist, so make it your own. All right, now we are going to move on to the next step and add a beak and the brow lines, or like the forehead of our owl. So the beak is going to be a triangle. So we're going to go right to this crease right here and make a horizontal line. Then we're going to make a line that comes down for the slant of our triangle, and then another one. So you can see that it looks the same on both sides. That's called symmetry, when one thing matches the other. And these lines help us to draw things the same on both sides. Speaking of that, now we're going to make the brow line that comes up. So we're just going to make a straight line up and then make it curve. And then we're going to do the same thing here. So straight and then curve. And if they're not exactly the same, no worries, not a big deal. Now I'm just going to make a line right through the center crease. Now that we have started with the beak, although it doesn't really look like it quite yet, we're going to draw the eyes on both sides here, and they're going to touch both sides. So we're going to start our eye just above the beak, and we're going to make a curve up. My line got a little squirrely there. Now I'm going to do the same thing on the other side. Line, curve up. And if your eyes don't look exactly the same, don't worry, okay? Now our next line is going to be just below or on that triangle, and we're just going to curve and come up. So this one's more like a smile, where this one was like a frown. Okay, and I'm going to do the same thing over here, rounded all the way over. Okay, ooh, I don't like that one, so I've got to erase it and make it a little bit rounder. Okay, and again, doesn't have to be exact. Now inside, to make these eyes look more real, I'm going to make a curve that goes this way and a curve that goes this way. Now it looks round, and I'm going to make a little circle in the center. Same over here, curve going in one direction, curve going in the other. So you have curves that are going like this. And then in the center there. All right, now he's got two really big eyes. I'm loving the way this is looking so far. Now we're going to draw one large side wing over here. So I'm going to start just outside of the body and above that crease, okay? And I'm just going to make it curve up, and wanted to make it go a little bit farther toward the center. So I'm going to make it go all the way over to about like here, let's say, okay? Now I'm going to bring this line out and down to a point, or it will become a point in a second when we curve this line around and bring it down. Okay, so there he's got a side wing now. All right, now we have to, because we can't see through his wing, we're going to erase the line on the inside and just get rid of the eraser lines. Now the next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to add some lines on his belly here, okay, or on his body. So I'm just going to make a curving line. Whoops. Mrs. Langless, goodness gracious. I'm going to make a curving line that starts out here and then ends over by the wing. Then I'm going to make another curving line that ends over here. Making all kinds of mistakes today, but guess what? That's when you do all of your learning, is when you make those mistakes. I'm going to make another one. And you know what? Then I think I'll make one more, kind of like that. All right. Now I'm going to leave those lines the way they are, and I'm going to go right to my feet next. So for the feet, you're just going to make kind of like some little triangles, okay? So I'm going to start over here. Let me move it up so that you can definitely see. And I'm just going to make it curve out and then back up. It's kind of like a zigzag line. Curve down, back up, curve down, back up. And then on the other one, so curve down, back up, curve down, back up, curve down, back up. All right, there's his little feet with his claws. And we need to draw something that those claws are holding on to. So now we're going to draw the branch. So I'm going to start out here, and I'm just going to make the branch come down and be right underneath where his claws are. And then it's going to go right off the page. Now I'm going to do the other edge, and it's going to disappear behind his tail maybe, and go behind the claws. This overlapping will help to make my owl look a little bit more realistic. Now we're going to add the tail. So the tail is going to come down right here and go behind the branch. I'm just going to make a straight line across and then make it kind of curve back up maybe here. I'm going to add some lines in there too. So there's his tail. All right, so the next thing that you can add in are some things in the background. So you might have noticed in the example I already showed you that they made some leaves and branches. So I think I'll go ahead and do that. I'm going to make a leaf right here, leaf shape. And then maybe I'll add some on the end too. Now you can add more or less, that's really up to you. I think I'll pop up here now and make another branch that kind of comes down. And so like he's perched on a tree, checking things out. All right, and then finally, I'm gonna add the moon up in the corner. So I'm just gonna make a curve like this, a crescent, and then make a curve on the inside for my moon. Now, when you get to this point, what I'd like you to do is to go ahead and trace all of your lines. Next week, we're going to add some more cool shapes and patterns inside to make this look even more interesting. So we're going to talk more about pattern again. So work on tracing your owl to get it ready for next week's step. And I will look forward to seeing how you guys do with that. Have a wonderful day.